team full of talents. You have they're so good with spiking. Murado de Guzman is #1 in setting right now. Their spikers are so good, even in out of system, they can easily score. And going into the semis, they can really bank on their service. They have 3 players in the top 10 of serving. You have #1, Gemma Galanza, and then Gia is there, Tots Carlos is there. As a team, they're just very intact.
The Creamline made Cherry Tigo look bad in that first game.
Yeah.
But since then, Cherry Tigo has come up with 2 very big wins. We've been saying it time and time again as part of the panel, Pao and Ayel. Makadalawang sunod ka dito sa PVL Invitational. It's big, and that's what's happening to Cherry.
Yeah, exactly. It's a team that made a lot of noise going into the Invitational Conference because they have a lot of super rookies in them. But talking about having an X factor, definitely it's still gonna be Mylene Paat, who I think her leadership, being vocal and leading by example is gonna be important in their next games, especially that they're still playing PLDT.
Yeah, second top scorer of the team behind EJ Laure. You take a look at the super rookies, as we talked about, and we were wondering how they would adapt and adjust to the pro scene. So how would you assess their adaptation so far?
They're just so good, and we're not surprised because how they performed in their collegiate career, they're so already good. And we talked about it in the previous interview that the gap from improving is small na lang because they're already so good. And A. Laure scoring 19 points in their previous game is really big.
19 and 14 the last game, so not so bad. Pauline has come,
as a middle,
as you said, adjusted into the middle, has been very good. 11 points in their second to the last game, and then the win yesterday again. All right, PLDT, they're still in it. They got a game against Jerflor tomorrow. Tell me about their chances.
They have still a big chance because this is still a team with a lot of veterans. You have Rhea Maculangan, you have Jovi Prado, you have Kat Arado, is a very excellent libero, Del Palomata, a great middle. But then for them, I think they just need to execute better and to really sustain their energy and, have the better intensity. We talked about this off-air that, in other teams, you have CC Rondina, Tots Carlos.
May Tagarali.
You have Gretchen Sotones, where we're trying to look for that intensity from PLDT as well.
And we're hoping Jovi Prado is good. And by the way, after the injury yesterday, we're praying for her.
Yeah, hopefully. And, you said intensity is key word. Where would that come from? You take a look at the roster and how it's composed right now, the players who have been contributing. Where do you think that intensity can come from if you're PLDT?
Definitely from Mitch Morente. She's one of the players who we know who always has that energy and intensity and playing. But then, collectively as a team, that's something that we're looking forward to see also from their next game.
All right, we got to talk about the bloodbath that is Pool B.
That's what B stands for.
Yes, exactly. There will be blood. Signal 3-1, F2 3-1, Petro 3-1, Choco Mucho, as you mentioned, 2-1. All right, give us your take first on the first two. Let's say Signal, diretso ka na ng F2.
Signal right now, I think they are really in a better form compared from the previous conference. They are a team full of veterans. Also, you have Jovelyn Gonzaga, Ces Molina, Rachel Andakis. So right now, they can really work on their floor defense and their receive because Jel Cayuna has been great in terms of combination play. So offensively, they can be really good whenever they get that good first touch of the ball. Second to that, you have F2 Logistics, who won big against Chocomucho. And, the teamwork also of the coaches was a big factor. The last two challenges in that fifth set was really something that turned around their game.
But a true coaching win, ano?
Exactly.
A coaching staff win,
And that one coach was a very, adamant to say na may net touch talaga. But for me, the X factors will really be the rookies because F2 is a system that's already well established. So, Jolina De La Cruz, Mars Alba, Ivy Laxina, I would say a rookie because she was converted to an outside hitter. Them stepping up will be the X factor because they are part of the starters.
Yeah, and you mentioned them as we talked about adapting a while ago in terms of Cherry. Take a look at F2 and the way that these rookies have slotted in a system that, a bit familiar to them based on their college backgrounds. Do you think that there are still noticeable jumps and improvement that they can make this conference?
Oh, definitely. I've talked to some of their teammates. They're saying that Mars Alva has still so much to improve, but it's not showing that much because she's been great in terms of decision making, of play making. You have Ivy Laxina and Jols who are starting as outside hitters. So that's something big. They showed that they can stay composed in their game against Chocomucho, but they were challenged by the veterans towards the end by Petrogas. So let's see how they can come back in their game on Tuesday against Photon.
Signal, a regular customer in the podium. F2 got to the podium the last time, so championship aspirations for both those two teams. Especially when you talk about Petro, they want to get back there, and boy, did they prove it the last time out, that marathon win yesterday.
Exactly. For Petrogas, there's not much to say about them because they're a team that's so composed. They know how to take control, not just of the game, but really of their side of the game. It just really shows their veteran experience, shows in how they play. You know, you have Isa Pontillas, Cheng also in her playmaking. And it shows in their game against F2. Exactly. Gretchen Soltones, 31 big points.
Wow, first 30 piece of
So for them, it's just a matter of consistency, really, because they know how to take good control of their game.
You know, they came from losing their first game and now on a 3-game win streak. So you take a look at all of that together, you can argue that they're hitting their stride when they need to. Now we have to talk about Chocomucho because you mentioned a while ago, we didn't even discuss this off the air, you mentioned a while ago that Chocomucho was the most improved team for you. Just what has changed for Chocomucho?
CC Rondina, I would say, really the missing piece of Chocomucho in terms of scoring and leadership. But one thing also very evident in Chocomucho is their blocking formation. Teams are really having a difficult time with their net defense. You know, they probably outnumbered F2 in blocking in their game last Tuesday, which is uncharacteristic because we know F2 has a really good blocking team. So that's one thing that they can really continue to work on, and they're number one in spiking as well. So a lot of improvements for Chocomucho.
The other day when they lost in that, tremendous game against F2, was that one of those good losses for them? That there were a lot of takeaways even in that loss because they came back so many times. And the other thing is, and Mela made this point when she was here on the show, yes, CC Rondina is a big addition, obviously from an offensive standpoint, but what did it do to the others also? Why are they better also? What's your opinion?
Well, with CC Rondina leading in terms of scoring, it gave, other players just in a comfortable position to also play their game and not to really overthink that I have to do this, I have to do that. Desiree Cheng was excellent
before the heat extraction.
Even Cherry Nunag was also stepped up.
Yeah, you're right.
Even Dina Wong has been really excellent with her playmaking. So, collectively as a team, they're starting to really develop that chemistry.
We always talk about the technical things happening right now, but then si Coach Regine Jago mentioned that even mentally right now it's becoming a big challenge here, managing this entire campaign because of how quick the games come and the pressure happening. So how important is the mental side? Oh, sana may aircon rin. Oh, true. We'll both be there, so please. You talk about the mental side here. Just how much more important is it right now with the amount of games and the pressure of the groups trying to make it to the next stage?
No, it's very important. We always say that you can't go too high, you can't go too low. When you win like F2, when they won, it's probably the adrenaline was there. It was a big win for them, especially that it was a turnaround given the challenges. But, after that, next day, balik talaga sa trabaho. You have to focus because every game is important. And again, we talked about this. You can't wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You can't have an off day right now because every game, every point is very important because we can lead into the quotient. If
Correct.
That's a lot of math.
And as much as we joke about the situation of the Heat the other day in Phil Sport, it changes substitution patterns.
Exactly.
It changes when you take out Des Cheng, it changed the game for them.
Also.
So these things matter. Kaya gusto mo sana it's the players who win it and not all of the
external
other
factors.
That's right. Ayel, as always, thank you very much. And enjoy the games tomorrow because they're going to be crucial. In the meantime, after the break, we'll get another perspective from the heart of volleyball as we bring in some courtside stories this time. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to the game. Our conversations about the PVL continues. We've heard from the latest from a volleyball analyst's point of view. Now, let's get fresh perspective from Courtside. We now have with us PVL Insider. Welcome back, Lexi Rodriguez. Lexi, we asked Mela, we asked Ayel, no explanation about the heat in Phil Sports. We have to ask you, do you have insider stories? No? No?
I do.
Yes?
I have a lot
You
of
do?
insider stories.
About the heat?
Oh, about the heat? Nope.
Okay.
Na-excite ako bigla eh. Sayang.
Then we'll skip that. The heat of the five-setter between F2 and Chocomucho. You were there.
Yes.
Tell us about your
Well, I can talk
experience.
about the heat within the dugout.
Yes, okay, go.
Mainit din sa dugout.
Medyo, pero yung feeling, yung intense na feeling na gusto
Okay,
nilang
okay.
manalo talaga
Okay.
nung araw na yon. Well, on F2 side, paulit-ulit na sinasabi ni Ayel and nila Mela na they've got one of the best diggers on their end, si Don Macandili. And sabi niya sa akin na talagang throughout her career, gusto niya lang talagang malaro yung best niya. And same goes with Ivy, na talagang with her 15-point game against Petrogas, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Napakita niya rin na she's embracing this new role that she has, na binigay ni Coach Reg. And I think on Chocomucho's side naman, we have this Cici Randina and Dina Wong connection na paulit-ulit din lahat napupuna. And Cici's been impactful on their end.
No question.
Right?
Yeah. You take a look at Cici. She's a new addition to the
Yeah.
team. Does she feel like a new addition? Do you look at her and see her and say that, oy, bago lang to sa team? Or has she slotted in a way that you feel na parang veterano na?
Well, sabi niya parang nung una daw parang feel niya, rookie ba yung tawag sa akin? Kasi she's been in the league for so long.
Yeah.
Beach volleyball and UAAP. But when she joined Chocomucho, and sabi nga ni Dia, nagtawanan daw sila. Because the last time that they played against each other was UAAP pa in season 81, right? So, they go way, way back. But nung nagkita sila, parang nandun na yung natural na connection that they have. And same goes with the Cici Randina and the Caitlin Veray connection.
Yeah.
And then the Cherry Nunag, the two cherries in the
Right,
team.
right.
Tapos parang sabi rin ni Dina sa akin, natawa pa siya because naalala niya back then na nagkaroon pa ng maraming memes nung UST and Ateneo game.
right.
So, and now they're playing with each other on the same team and it's just a new perspective for both of them.
That's the
just
beauty
having
of
fun.
that's the beauty of the PVL, right? They went at it in
Yeah.
the finals. At that, in a finals atmosphere.
Ooh, yeah, they
and
did.
Dina was the one, her team denied CC of graduating with a
Yes.
championship, although CC did take home the MVP that year. Okay, tell us real quick, the game, the intensity of that game when you were just watching, coming, if we were watching on TV, was it as intense or more intense?
It was more intense,
Okay.
especially with the heat.
Yeah.
I can't emphasize enough. I mean, Paula, I wish you were there to have witnessed personally one of the greatest PVL games I've covered and watched. But, you know, si Coach
Probably
Reg-
not.
Probably not. I was like,
Okay ka na sa TV.
no, okay, maybe electric fan ako malapit. Okay muna ako. I heard about the heat. But go ahead.
But then, yeah, and isa pang hindi masyadong na-affect nun is Coach Reg.
Wow,
Ayun.
okay. Napansin nga namin eh.
Because Coach Reg, this is, okay, mainit to Mainit yung suot namin. So she's there wearing a coat na medyo
Yes.
nag-viral siya. And that fit is very intentional, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's very intentional. But as far as I know, as I spoke to her, she's not that superstitious. I mean, for some people, they would say na it's a lucky charm. Madaming nagsasabi sa kanya na, Coach Reg, isuot mo na kasi yan. It's your lucky charm for F2. But on her end, she just sees it as something na when she looks good, she feels good. And it translates to her coaching style. as
Sabi niya, parang advice daw din sa kanya ni RDJ to look professional.
Yes.
So that's her approach to looking
And
professional.
you know, it's also interesting, Boom and Paolo. Sabi niya sa akin that she actually consulted with 2 tailors.
There you
And
go.
there's another set of na color,
Oo.
pero I don't want to spoil that.
Sige, sige.
abangan
Hintayin
na
natin.
lang.
Pero nakita mo na.
Hintayin natin yan.
Hindi ba? Sinabi niya
Sinabi niya lang.
Kailangan
Nagawa
natin
na
ma-read.
daw.
Yeah.
Malaman kung ilan kulay. Ay,
Yes.
ilan, di ba? Yun ang kailangan natin malaman. Alright.
Nakaka-addict yun. When you have one color, you want more.
Yes.
Pero,
Last night you were there also,
I
correct?
was there in Farm Fresh and Signal, yes.
Farm Fresh and Signal, who are celebrating their 10th year as a company also.
Yeah.
Diba? Remember, they were here, they wanted to win the championship as a gift to Signal for the 10th anniversary. But there's somebody who's actually there also celebrating
Yes.
her 10th anniversary. Wow, sino yan?
It was Jack Janela, and I got the chance to talk to her as well. And nakakatawa kasi nung tinanong ko siya, sabi niya na, di ko naman alam kung ma-offend ba ako or matatandaan ko yung age ko, kung gano'n na ako katanda. But, sabi niya, the biggest lesson for her is that all throughout these years, she knew how to appreciate the little things and being part of Signal for, 10 years.
Yeah.
And since Signal started in 2009, parang dun after 4 years, the establishment got established. She was part of Signal na. So it's something very much overwhelming on her end.
Okay, Jack has been in Signal longer than Boom and I have.
Oh, definitely.
Combined.
Combined,
Oh,
really? Wow.
10 years siya eh.
Yeah.
Pero apart from Jack Janelle, you also have something on si Jill Cayuna, who, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, has taken Coach Shaq as a mentor in her role right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. When they go way, way back as well.
Yeah.
In FEU, and then when Coach Shaq, sabi nga ni Coach Shaq sa akin, they parted ways, but they found their way back with each other. And it's also something na nakakakilig daw kay Coach Shaq and both Jel. Because kay Coach Shaq, sabi niya na it's something na you rarely hear from players, that these players acknowledge you as someone impactful or instrumental throughout their career. So talagang nakakataba ng puso. So
I remember when Jel came back to Shaq, when she came back, she felt like she was reborn as a setter. And it's very obvious. From then on, naging Philippine team siya.
Yes,
and then
yes.
all of these individual honors that she's now gotten under Coach Shaq. So we're happy for her.
Yeah.
And we're happy for you.
I'm happy for you guys.
We're happy for you also.
Yeah, hopefully you don't wear that when
When the heat
when
comes
the
out, yeah.
blazer. Let's keep her.
Well, yesterday it was cold.
It's
Okay,
colder
good.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Really?
We're looking forward to
na-excite
tomorrow
ako
then.
bigla. Lexi, maraming salamat. We can't
you,
wait to see you
Carl.
in the games again.
Thank you
I'll see
very
you
much,
tomorrow.
Lexi. After the break, we'll get the latest on the Gilas girls as they look ahead to the semifinals of the FIBA Under-16 Women's Asia Championship. Stay tuned, you're watching The Game.
It's just around the corner, and with that comes a new batch of correspondents. If you are 18 to 23 years old, currently enrolled in a UAAP school, fluent in English and Filipino, willing to give time for training sessions, and a fast thinker in pressure-packed situations, then audition to be the next one at the sidelines. Submit your CV and a 90-second video about yourself and why you want to be a correspondent. Email us at uaap@signaltv.com.ph. Period of application is from July 1 to August 1, 2023.
Welcome back to the game. The Gilas girls swept their group stage at the FIBA Under-16 Women's Asia Championship after a big win over Jordan. The Philippines dominated with a 106-58 victory over the host country, led by Kimi Saison and Ava Fajardo. The win claimed the top spot for the Gilas girls, who finished the group stage with a 3-0 record with an average win margin of just under 70 points. The Philippines now looks ahead to their semis matchup versus Malaysia in the Final Four stage, which takes place tomorrow. A win in the semifinals will get the Gilas girls just one step closer to Division A promotion if they win the tournament.
And speaking of hoops, the wait is over as Kai Soto finally debuted for the Orlando Magic in the NBA Summer League. The 21-year-old big man came off the bench and tallied 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 blocks in 13 minutes of action. The 7'3" center saw action for the first time during the Summer League and capped off his debut with a thunderous late-game dunk. On that note, come and watch the best basketball players in the globe and cheer them on live inside the venues. The FIBA Basketball World Cup 2023 single game pass is now available for as low as 499 pesos. Get your tickets at SM Tickets, Ticketnet, or via philippines-ticketing.world or worldcup.basketball. Thank you for joining us. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.